What a time to be alive here in College COD. The conference championships are among us. We've already been through a match or a couple matches off stream as well, getting set up for this week. It is a great time if you're a fan of Oklahoma Christian or Wichita State, because now you got a best of 7 where you're looking to lead into the first seed out of your division heading into the playoffs. My name is Seymour. With me is Narski. Narski, my friend, it's been a while. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just happy to be back in some college COD. It has been a little bit of a few week hiatus for me, but I'm ready to get back into it. 2 banger teams coming here, and I do believe Spart out Gus in. Apologies for Oklahoma Christian. So that'll be an interesting matchup. But I mean, the stats don't lie. 13-1, 13-1. We've got a killer matchup going head to head here for our best of 7 and conference championship here for the Sun Belt. It is going to be a banger.
Well, let's take a look at their history between these two, because they have quite the history. Like you said, 13-1, both teams looking good. Wichita State, the only team they lost to was Oklahoma Christian, as you can take a look at their series record. But within that, you said it, it was Spart playing within this team. Tonight, he will not be there, so the Shockers are looking for an upset at the end of their regular season to lead into the playoffs with a pretty hefty record and a little bit extra cash to go alongside it. But even, Narski, when you're taking a look at the rest of everything, their hardpoint record, their search record, your control record, it is polished for Oklahoma Christian.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's looking, you can't make it up. You can't get better than that. It's absolutely unreal. And I mean, I must say as well, Gus coming in for this team, I don't think that it's going to be like a massive change up maybe for Oklahoma Christian. I think that he'd be pretty familiar with the guys and played with them many times. So I think he'll fit quite well into the roster. But for Wichita State, at least there's something going for you. You know, that extra inch that you might need going forward. I must say as well, looking at the head-to-head, Wichita on that S&D, look, it's not the greatest. They are positive by a small margin. Could be a bit better. We'll see if that comes into play here with the best of 7. Some more game modes in play. Will it affect it? I'm not sure, but I think that so far, fairly even matchup going into it, and then you take Spart out, Gus in. Maybe that affects them in a negative way for Oklahoma Christian, and we might be seeing something where it's a little skewed to a certain way. It's really hard to tell until we see that first map come underway, but I think that so far they've set themselves up pretty nicely, and we can go ahead and look at some of the other maps later on, and we can kind of delve into it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, in one thing, you were saying is that it's going to be even. We'll see it in map 1. S&D, it's got me a little bit worried for that Wichita State team. 7-6 doesn't look too pretty, but they've played before back in the regular season. We can take a look at how things went in the series rewind all the way back in week 3. It didn't look good for the Shockers. 250 to 182 on Vault Hardpoint, 6-3 on the Search and Destroy, 3-1 on the Protocol Control. Not a very close series, but kind of as we're alluding to in the whole asterisks on this history, is that this was with Spart in the roster, not with Gus playing on the team. Do I think it's going to affect it? I don't think it's going to affect it too much. This team played with Gus. They know how to play with Gus. They love Gus. We love Gus. It's going to be a good addition for the conference finals. Everyone loves Gusify. He is handsome, and he's got a great smile. I won't lie. But let's look at the maps and modes for this best of 7, because we saw a best of 7 prior to this one. Fortunately, it wasn't the best for Newberry. Mars Hill, they came, they saw, they conquered. It was a 4-0 sweep. I want to see a map 5, Narcy. I want to see it go all the way the distance between these two, as they have quite the history within their regular season. But you're looking at what we have. We get a repeat on the Vault Hardpoint. We get Protocol Search and Destroy, Vault Control. Then we go into the triple set of Haciendas. If we need to go the distance all the way, it's that Hacienda, and Red Card to finish things off. But it is a pretty bog standard map set. I know we saw a little bit of a change in the rule set today with competitive maps having Search and Destroy out with the Skyline, out with the Vault, in with the Dealership, as well as the Rewind coming back. It's not going to be a thing just yet. So we don't get to actually see either Skyline or Vault Search and Destroy in this one. And that's a plus in my books.
Yeah, I mean, I saw on the bans as well, the vetoes, that it was an instant just Skyline Hardpoint, Skyline SSD ban from Oklahoma City. They did not want to play it. They did not want to touch the map. And we're not seeing it here. So I'm also grateful for the map pick that we're seeing here. Whether or not this Vault is going to come out swinging for Oklahoma Christian, I feel like, I mean, you said briefly that, you don't think it's going to change it too much. And although I agree, I think Oklahoma Christian is a very flowy team. They kind of get the momentum, they kind of roll with it, and they're feeling hot, and they just kind of play around each other. It feels very second nature for them. Some other teams, maybe I'm just watching, but it doesn't quite give me that impression or that feeling. With Gus in there, I know they played in there and they know each other. Whether it'll be as easy or as fluid as they kind of expect with Spart from just playing with him throughout the regular season is kind of up to debate. That's kind of what I'm looking for here for Oklahoma Christian, whether that'll be a seamless transition or not. But I mean, all things considered, a Vault protocol Vault, nothing out of the ordinary. The triple Hassie is interesting if it goes the distance. I mean, we're going to be on the map for a while. And then the end on the red card, that'll be interesting if it goes there, but we'll talk about that later if the series kind of tells that story.
Yeah, and for those wondering, it was Wichita for the first 3 maps to pick that out, so they're going to have the advantage in where they want to go to start off this series, which hopefully might lead them to have a little bit more comfortability. Let's look at the stats for each one, and we're kind of looking for these first 3 maps, and it definitely favors Oklahoma Christian, especially when you look at that Vault hardpoint and the Vault control 4-0, 6-1. Wichita State, they have little to no experience on the Vault control, so hopefully having this as, that first control pick is you don't want to play on the protocol, Oklahoma Christian said, so the Vault is what Wichita State gets, and hopefully they have something up their sleeves, because 0-1 does not instill that much confidence in me.
Well, I mean, we look at it, right? Vault hardpoint is going to be a big decider here for the series. We go off the stats alone, and I know the past of these two teams. Clearly, Wichita's search isn't their strong suit, right? We can tell it by the stats, we can tell it by how the team plays. So if we take map 2 and being like, well, it's not too favorable for them, we see Vault control, they don't have a lot of experience, it's probably not too favorable for them either. This Vault hardpoint, if they lose that, this could be 3 maps that they're realistically the underdogs for going into, and then you go to a Hassie hardpoint where at least it has some home turf. There's a lot of games played over Oklahoma Christian on Hassie hardpoint, but I don't think Oklahoma Christian would have picked it if they didn't feel comfortable going with the Hassie. So these first 3 maps, although Wichita might feel comfortable on them, I don't know if I would quite say that it's their best couple or few maps here going into the start of this series anyways.
I think you look at this best of 7, Oklahoma Christian, they feel comfortable no matter where they go. They're the number 2 team in CCL for a reason. This is a team that everybody has their eyes on to stand out across the entirety of College COD, even into the playoffs, and probably beyond that. This is a team that's going to go far. Wichita State, they have their work cut out for them. They're the number 7 team in the top 25. Obviously, they have a lot of veterancy at the helm of their roster. I mean, you even look at Kaiser, who comes into it. He's a player that can really pop off and take over, but you got your work cut out for you inside of this game and inside of the series in general, and you kind of look towards, like you say, being comfortable, finding that flow state, playing together. This is an Oklahoma Christian team that if you want to beat them, you have to be on the same wavelength as a squad. And for Wichita State, I mean, I haven't been able to cast them too much this season, but whenever I have, it's just one thing that stands out to me rather than other teams like Oklahoma Christian. You don't always see that flow state hit all the time for this squad, and I want to see them go into this Vault hardpoint right off the get-go and come out strong, come out swinging. You steal away map number 1 that sets this up to go the distance, that sets things up against Oklahoma Christian, that says you're not going to roll over easily. You're not going to just march on into the playoffs with a free win. OC, this is going to be a tough matchup whichever way you spin it, especially with Spart out of the roster, but it is something that Oklahoma Christian still will feel confident in.
Well, we're going to have to see. I think the guns are going to have to get hot here on this map 1. And I'm going to be looking for Wichita to at least take this for an interesting series. I'm not knowing how it's going to turn out further on, but I do know that Wichita need every chance that they can get here against the Titans that are Oklahoma City. But let's get things started here. Map number 1 underway. Kaiser already pushing this P1, trying to open things up, and a lot of kills coming in for the yellow Wichita, and they get a 4 down and a nice P1 break.
A nice P1 break and the better spawns for the P2 rotation. It's just, can you hold on? If you're the Shockers, Peach going to get run down, and now you have to be on red alert to make sure that these red arrows cannot slip the line. You can already see that Pradosh and Manny trying to work a flip here and getting the kills necessary to do so. Lots of pressure on Peach. They go down, and with 3 in the feed, Oklahoma Christian, they flip things out. Now they're going to look to get back in the hill.
Yeah, it's a good reflip, Oklahoma Christian. Now back in P1, just soaking up some of this time. A little bit of scrap can be gained, but P2 is what we're looking for. Kaiser going to be that man who's going to be in the back line, causing a bit of problems here. Big gunfight, does spot the player. Not getting the kill, though, is the difference. Cruz takes care of him. It's 3 in the kill feed. P1 still online, and now P2 underway for Oklahoma Christian as they add spawns and get in that initial.
They got the full setup. I like this spread from Oklahoma Christian. They have mid control. They have Palms control. They have Cruz posted up in a turret inside the hill. I mean, this is everything you want and more, especially when Gus is beaming with a pistol at range like that. Everything flowing for OC as they're in control.
If there are any doubts, Gus fitting into this roster pretty well. Looking like the Oklahoma City that we know and love. The break attempt trying to come in for Dusa, but not quite getting there. Prod as well in the point with the sub, looking to get things done. And P2, all money for Oklahoma Christian. P3 next on the cards. It is a rotation being made from Oklahoma Christian. It is going to be Manny trying to get in here with this pressure, this aggression, closing the gap here on Kaiser as well. And this is a disastrous series of events if they fall. There is still a player in the back they have to deal with. I believe it is Dusa, and he is going to be the main man here for Wichita.
Big setup here for Wichita State. Just, can you turn this into time? As you can see, a lot of these arrows just so gung-ho on hunting these kills. Nobody's getting time for the Shockers, and it's allowing for Oklahoma Christian to just slowly and slowly build this lead. 66-11. A split spawn for number 4. Exotic's going to have a flank on the hill, but even still, you are surrounded. And you need to start turning these kills into time for Oklahoma Christian. They get 3 down. Immediately, they hop this hill. There's 22 seconds that you're happy to get.
Yeah, this is a ripper start for Oklahoma. They're playing perfectly. They're filling in the gaps that they need to. The rotations on point. And you can just see Wichita behind the 8 ball here, struggling with a lot of the pressure that Oklahoma is pushing. And every single rotation, they have been beaten, even when they have the spawns. Wichita now looking to go to P4, but it's just so tough. Time and time again, Oklahoma ahead of the 8 ball here, making Wichita pay for the mistakes.
You got the setup in. Gus going to spot the cross. Pinch forming for Wichita, so you have bodies in the hill, but will you be able to win things out? Good kill from Kaiser, holding down that back line, but instead it's the spawns for Oklahoma. Deucer trying to hold through for the team, but he loses everybody, and they know he's up here. In Oklahoma, they have him trapped up there. They don't even want to chow him.
I don't even care. I mean, look, let him stay up here. He's not doing anything so far. You know, they're not costing anything. They're soaking up a good 15 seconds so far of Deucer just standing up here. He needs to make a play. Does get the kill. It's only through the front as well, but this is for 15 seconds of scrap at best. And they finally break on in. Deucer with some nice gunfights, but a little too late. 20-point margin just crossed for Wichita as they struggle time and time again here. P4 in, bit of scrap. It's better than nothing, but Oklahoma Christian coming in for the second set of rotations, looking phenomenal.
Yeah, they are looking great. 114-32. Only time he really gave up hill time was the early setup that Wichita had for that P1, and the little bit of scrap time he gave away for P4. 2 and 3 flawless as they are manipulating this map to their will. For now, you have the spawns in the back of gold, so a little bit of work to do here if you're Wichita State to see if you can flip these for that P2 rotation. They can't even get into the first hill right now, so Prada's doing a good job at holding them back.
Wow. 5 streak as well for him. He's continuing to fry out. There's so much damage being applied. Finally gets taken out by Deucer, who has been a lot of damage for the side of Wichita. Has been making the plays he can with the sub. P1, you know, widely a neutral hill, but P2 still in the hands of Oklahoma. And they've done a great job of grabbing as much time as they can, Oklahoma on P1. And Wichita just continuing to try and get the kills that they can. Exotic with a nice 3-piece, but it's just still not enough. Spawn's still in. P1 time still gained for Oklahoma Christian, and P2 now online with some good time. And they're already starting to develop this setup. The players may be starting to push out here in a minute. And Kaiser's going to pay for that one as well. But a nice flank from Dusa and Peach to get the break.
This is no time to kind of sit and wait. I'd like to see Wichita State try to push for these back spawns. You know Cruz is going to be back there, so you have to find this kill, and you need to at least flip things out fully. But now you turn your attention to the front side, and already Oklahoma Christian breathing life into the hill. They get the break from the front. They don't have the better spawns, but they're winning their battles. They're keeping the hill in their favor.
On a 13 HP, looking to try and survive. The help is there. The AR's in. Cruz with the help. P2 still getting soaked up for Oklahoma Christian. P3 next on the cards. There's only one person rotating for each team. It's a big 1v1 in the back. Cruz looking to be that man. Tip of the spear finds one. Second one deep in the spawn. Does have an inkling that he's there. Just going to play his life and wait for this reinforcement that Prada is going to give. Now he's in the back line with the sub. Peach getting a nice 2-piece on the hill to open things up. And Wichita can at least grab some time here as Oklahoma spend their resources trying to gain the spawns and break on in.
Proto's just trying to be annoying here. If you give attention to the back line, it allows for Oklahoma Christian to slip through the middle. And that's exactly what Manny is going to do. He's trying to play through those double doors, see if he can take the player off of hedges. And as soon as you do, that is good hill time for Oklahoma Christian to just continue to run up this clock. Failure on the spawn flip from Oklahoma Christian, but they're winning the battles inside, and that's what matters. You're up 110 points. You don't need hill time right now. You just got to make sure that Wichita State can't get any for themselves.
Yeah, just continue to make this deficit unbearable for Wichita. They're doing everything that they can in their power to get these points, this time that they need to get themselves back in the game. But Oklahoma are doing such a great job of, even in their, points of weakness, which isn't much, they're making them pay. They're making them cost. It's never a money heal. It's never some big time. It's always the scrap that Wichita is fighting all of this battle for. And Oklahoma continue to sustain that lead pretty comfortably. The new heal's online. They're going to try and break on in. They've got 3 trying to go through the front of the time. But, Wichita State, again, the hill is white. They're not grabbing the time that they want. And it's already around 30 seconds left on this point.
Finally, you're getting some hill time if you're Wichita, but you're down so much. You need a better third set of hills. As you look to where you're losing, and most of the time it's off of the rotations to P2. Giving up so much there for Oklahoma Christian to keep this lead. P4's been good. P3's been a toss-up. P1's been a toss-up. So right now, if I'm the Shockers, I'm trying to break out of this spawn trap and see if you can send somebody towards the north side of the map, flip out those spawns early, and get the good hold for the second hill. You're only down 60. You're still in the game.
Yeah, they've done a great job here. These last few hills have been big for Wichita. That scrap time has been adding up. Oklahoma not getting a lot of time. Wichita just inching their way further. They're still a whole point behind. Third set of rotations now coming through. Wichita have a good idea of how Oklahoma have been playing these setups, these rotations. And I think that they're starting to get a handle on how to play this matchup. P1 time getting grabbed now. An unfortunate team nade, but it's a 2v2 on the point, and they're trying to fight for P2 as well. There's a lot going on for Wichita.
So much, and most of it is riddled with blood. 3 down. Prada with so much map control over towards that B control zone. He's got so much attention and the kills to back it up. A double out of nowhere. 200 points for Oklahoma Christian and the spawns for P2. If I was a betting man, I would say that this might be done in the next hill. They are just looking lights out right now in Volt.
Yeah, there is a player in the back. They've got to watch out for number 3. It is going to be Dusa, so he does get the break on in. We didn't see it on screen, but on the map, Dusa making a play to keep Wichita alive here. Still a lot that needs to be done. Prada with a nice 2-piece. Almost going for the third shot. It's not quite connecting. Peach now the one dropping. And there's one player still left in time. It is going to be Dusa doing everything for Wichita. He finally gets taken out. They don't win off of this, but they get mighty close. Oklahoma Christian looking to shut things out here at the end of this hard point. And, I got to say, time and time again, this P2 has been a problem for Wichita. They have not had a good handle on it. They're still trying to make it happen. 20 seconds that they can grab here, or at least make Oklahoma, pay for. but it's just not enough. Time and time again, they're losing these players, and we're going to try and see a rotation here from Oklahoma Christian. Wichita have been good on these last couple of hills, but it's just too little too late. Again, 100-point differential going into this, Seymour.
You see, that's why you don't always bet on things, because then there's a rogue spawn in the back and you just never read it, and Wichita State, they get blessed with that hill. But 131 to 236. Can Wichita State pull off the impossible? They're getting the kills, and they're finally getting some time on this P3. You just have to be worried about Cruz, who he is playing the long game right now on the flank. He's going to cut it early in behind. You lose your player on Palms. Peach is overwhelmed in the hill. 3 go down. Make it 4. And Oklahoma Christian, they want this now.
Coming on in, Cruz. 4 streak for him. Not going to matter. 10 points remaining for Oklahoma to take the win. Cruz trying to switch to the sub. Not going to happen. Wichita break on in, but the shots are coming through for both sides. 2 players looking to helm that hill from Oklahoma. They're going to back up, try and play for new. 14 seconds left.
Oh, no.
Kaiser trying to soak up that time, but never mind. They actually make a pay with a split spawn in the back, and Cruz opens up the hill. They get a big amount of time. They have rotation for new. Wichita nowhere near the point. Now they have to dash through mid, and Product can just feast on them for free. No one's close. 6 seconds. I don't even think that Wichita can make the point. Cruz is going to shut everything down, and that is it for map number 1. Wichita, unfortunately, falling under the might of Oklahoma Christian with a blunder there towards the end. But if we're being real, it's still a 100-point differential. I mean, even if they get that in, wasn't looking good for them. Oklahoma Christian with a very nice map 1.
And there's a moment where I was like, okay, Wichita, I see you. You're pulling it back. That P3 break was fantastic. They started to get some time off of the hill as well. But then, I don't know what forced the spawn out, but an unfortunate one for Wichita State. Cruz gets blessed with the P2 spawn. The freest flank I've ever seen. And when you wanted to surge through that P3 after getting maybe 2 or 3 kills for yourself, the Shockers instead take a couple of bullets in the back, and it's going to do it for map number 1. I mean, Oklahoma Christian, hats off to the spawn system, because they gave you that win on P4 for free. 250-51. That's a feel-good map for the Eagles. Now heading into map number 2, Protocol Search and Destroy. This is again where we kind of shined a little bit of a shadow on this Wichita State Esports team, as 7-6 record for this mode itself, but on Protocol Search and Destroy itself, they are 1-1. So not a lot of reps, not the greatest stat line you want for this mode, but still something that, you know, you started to have some good plays there from your players in the end of that hard point. And you got to look to see if it can ride the wave here into the Search and Destroy.
I mean, I gotta say, I was kind of banking on Wichita to at least, if not win this, make this a little bit closer than what we saw, but I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about this team going into the Protocol Search and Destroy. I mean, we can, talk about the Search and Destroy all we want, but realistically, Wichita is their weakest game mode, right? Throughout the season, they have not been playing well. Oklahoma, looking pretty solid on their search, all things considered. Even with the stand-in, it's still not going to be that big of a difference, as we saw from map 1 in the hard point, and we look at the graph here as well. The differential was massive throughout the entire match consistently. Only in that P4 was it really closing. We're going to a Search and Destroy here on Protocol. I'm just going to be a realist. I don't think Wichita is going to be able to pull this through on the Search and Destroy. And given that they don't have any reps on the Vault Control, they might be starting off the series 3-0, and we might have to see a very big grueler from Wichita to try and bring themselves back in this series later on. I guess the saving grace of them, it is a best of 7, so yeah, they have some more maps under their belt to get themselves back in the swing of things, but not a great start for Wichita.
I mean, just look at the difference in hills here on this graph. I mean, like P3, like the whole first set, you get little to no time. You head into the rotation. You hope to get that set up at P1, but even still, you're only getting yourself 20 seconds. Those P2s were so good for Oklahoma Christian. And I'm not really talking about that second set of hills, but the first one and the third rotation between the two. It is just constantly denying those money hills away from Wichita State Esports. Even if they get the spawns in the back, even if they manage to break for a couple of seconds towards the start, they always just contest it. And they're always making it so mixy that the Shockers just couldn't grab any time off of it. Like the biggest time that we saw from them was that P3 to P4 in the second set. And even still, most of the time, it's because Oklahoma Christian were getting that early rotation over towards P4 where they know they're just going to run up the clock with that P4 setup. So, Wichita, I mean, when this does go to that map 4 in the Hacienda hardpoint, after looking at that, I mean, the team was finding the kills at Narskiv. You saw Deucer all over the map, just constantly trying to run some routes, but they need to figure out who's going to be the one to run routes and hit those flanks and find those kills, and who's going to be the one to hop time, because that whole first set, it just seemed like nobody wanted to play the objective, nobody wanted to get in the hill, and that's got to change against a team like Oklahoma Christian, because this is a very selfless team in OC that is going to never give up the chance to hop that hill. But for Protocol, it's a little bit different. You don't have to really worry about those respawns anymore for your Wichita State Esports. And I'm looking at a player like Deucer. I mean, he really impressed me in that map number 1. You can let him go rogue here, find a few kills, at least pull those first bloods in your favor. This is not an easy map to retake. So for this Wichita attack, I'm hoping to see if they can win those first blood battles.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? We saw a lot from Deuce. It was a player I was going to point out going into this. I think it's just a case of you need to know how to play off a player like that, right? I think a lot of teams, struggle with working as a team collaboratively against certain individual plays, right? It's easy to go off and make those plays and have that in your head, but to coordinate and communicate that with your team and to play off of that is a different story, and that's what we see a lot of teams actually struggle with, at least throughout this section of Call of Duty. But coming onto a Search and Destroy, I think you hit it right on the head for Wichita. They need to find some sort of value with Dusa, and they need to be able to play off that successfully. We'll see. Protocol can allow for some routes, but the ARs as well are going to have a big impact here.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not that's going to come through, we'll see. It's going to be defense for Oklahoma Christian and an offense for Wichita.
A little bit of a heyday here for the assault rifles. A left open. Stun check was down and towards post. They know that there's a presence from OC there. Exotic going to see if he can play the flank, and he will. Trade onto Prada, but Kaiser goes down, so that is not going to be an advantage just yet to Wichita. Instead, actually, Deucer gets caught through P2. That's bombed down. Life advantage to Oklahoma Christian.
Already some big kills coming through. 3v2. Peach and Exotic looking to try and get something done, but Peach gets caught out of position. Now Exotic in the 1 versus 3 with the sub. We're going to try and pick up Bomb as well from a very awkward spot. Players unknown, not a lot of information to go off of. Trying to push up close here, but this is going to be an absolute death trap given he's doing 360. He's trying to break on in. What is he doing? Never mind, the punch gets the kill, and he's still alive. But only momentarily. Shots come in through the back. Oklahoma Christian taking round 1.
I respect it, John. I know what you were trying to do. Chat knows what you were trying to do. Would have been funny if it happened, but it didn't. 3 for Prada in the round 2. A big opening for one of the players who just took control back in that vault hardpoint. He looked great. He was always playing that cutoff man, always moving on those routes through mid, making sure that your team could grab that time for free. Prada getting hot again. It's actually Manny. The podcaster lied to me. It was Manny who's doing it. So forget about Prada. Shout out Manny. Let's see if Wichita State can answer back on the defense.
The age-old classic podcaster. We're going to go back into it. Wow, nice shots from Manny straight away. 4 streak for him as well with the help of, I believe it's Gus. Don't get me tripped up now, Codcaster. And, this round getting absolutely dissected by Oklahoma Christian. Every single player dropping like flies as Kaiser's in the 1 versus 4. Fortunately, it's not going to last too long, and Oklahoma with a nice, swift second round here. And, the Search and Destroy is going about as well as I expected here based off of the stats. But Wichita, trying to analyze this a little bit.
I don't know what to analyze. You literally just teed up on one of the nastiest headies in the game with no cover. Drilled. And just drilled him. Like, that was insane shots coming through. There's no analysis. You got smoked off that heady. And that just shows Oklahoma Christian not only a fundamental team, but a technical team at that. They can shoot straight. And you don't want to just give things up like that for free. So quick hit over towards A. You lose Peach over to P2. Bomb not going to go down right away, but Deucer going to lay the rock eventually. 3v3 in the post plan, and Exotic has spiral control. Do you hit the flank? Now he's going to drop with a team, 2v3.
Yeah, I think we need to see a play there from Exotic, at least try and make something happen, a risk. Maybe wouldn't have had the time, but 1 versus 3 now for him. As he tries to wrap through the middle of the map now, maybe he can get something done, but Bomb's already getting on the defuse. He runs past the player, and he'll get his ankles taken off. Oklahoma Christian 3-0. I mean, time and time again, it's player advantage. It's capitalized by Oklahoma Christian, and we just see the round crumble before Wichita's eyes. And it's a tough sight to see, because it's rinse and repeat at this point.
6-0 for Manny. And, yeah, I mean, you're just losing those first bloods. You're losing your battles inside this site as well. And, I mean, I don't hate the play from Exotic to take control of Spiral, but when you know you're playing for space, you're not playing for kills at that point, you need the rest of your team to play their life. I mean, you're just giving up one of the hardest retakes ever with no contest there. So Oklahoma Christian, now it's their turn to see if they can school Wichita and something they just failed at. And Prada's going to open up with the first blood. Bomb already going down at A. Now you got to retake this one, and Oklahoma Christian going to show you how it's done.
Yeah, just better. Just better from Oklahoma Christian. Cruz, unfortunately, not getting any of those kills there. At least you get one in for Wichita, but this side is deadly to try and retake as well. When you have Prada through the back line, looking to try and do some damage. Wasting a bit of time, but yeah, 2 versus 2. It's looking a little bit more likely. 25 seconds. Gus posting up on the heady. Does find one. Tries to snap over the second. 1 versus 1. Manny drops behind him. Takes care of him. And Oklahoma Christian taking the round. But it was close. They were trying to trade out. They were trying to push the site. They were making some kills. And probably the closest round we've seen so far, Seymour.
Yeah, how do you read this, too? I mean, just staying active. I like that. Up the zip, through Ellie. Hit the flank through mid-map, drop down big door, and that is the last place they expect you. They expected Prada on the flank. They brought into a 2v2, but you never expect the second player to flank as well. So 7 in a row for Manny. Can you go flawless across the search? On the other side, Wichita State still hunting for their first rounds. Back on the attack. So they drop in towards A. No trophies, I'd imagine. They still got one, possibly. Yeah, it's going to be dropped. They hit the site. Ooh. Manny goes down, and now it's a chance to get this done. Exotic pushing forward. 3 in a row for the Shockers. And surely this is it. Gus, nowhere to go. That's it. Wichita State finally on the board.
Round underneath their belts. That's all they needed. Brute force. Head-to-head, win the gunfights, and you're home and hose. You try and play the tactical, game against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma Christian, sorry. Getting confused there myself, but coming in head-to-heads, you got to win it. So Oklahoma doing a unfortunate break there, trying to contest it. Didn't go their way. Wichita getting their first round on the board, 1-4. Looking very, very solid, at least in that round, when they get into those gunfights. And I think that they need to try and play to force those as much as they can, because clearly they can contest with the gunfights. You just can't draw it out because you're getting outplayed on the macro of the game, not the micro. Just gotta
stay sharp. That's all you need. Stay sharp and attentive,
just shoot
but don't give up B for free here. I think there was a player in the back. They're going to get drawn from the first blood, so suddenly you are in trouble. Wichita, Manny gonna take the zip up. They have no idea. Turns around. It's too late. Kaiser gonna get surprised up top.
Oh.
And Manny's grown a wings. And he is flying through this map. 1v4 for Deucer. Yeah, that's how I expected that one to go. Shot in the back. 5-1 for Oklahoma Christian. They are speedrunning this finals.
Yeah, I mean, the disconnect at the start. Not sure if we're going to have a reset or not, but man, it is a tough matchup for Wichita so far. They just have no answer to what's happening. You can see that they're trying these different strats. It's just not quite going their way, and we will have a reset. Whether that round will go through or not, probably not. He did disconnect right at the start of that.
He disconnected before the first blood. So, like...
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like, gonna be reset,
of all things, of all times for you to disconnect, it's when you get the first B execute of the round. The one player who could stop that. The only person there who could contest the bomb. DCs. That, like... We gotta reset that round. Come on.
What can you do? What can you do? I mean, like... You're battling Oklahoma Christian. You're battling the internet. or the game. I mean, depending on which one it is, time of day. But I mean, it gives them some time to reset at least, I think, for a little bit here. I think that they've got to look at that one round that they won, because that was so drastically different from the other rounds that were played out, right? They just went into a head-to-head gunfight, and obviously Oklahoma Christian isn't going to give up those gunfights, willy-nilly. They're going to go in there. They're going to be playing a strategical game, but if you can try and force it, if you try and at least hit the side to just try and brute force your way in and see what happens, I would like that better from Wichita than trying to kind of outbrain Oklahoma in their kind of home turf here, where they're feeling consistent in the macro part of the game, and they're making these big, wide plays that are netting them these wins. Because we've seen it, the 1v1, the retakes, the 1v2s. It's always the players that are lurking off to the sides of the map, trying to play these picks, that are the ones dropping lives for Wichita. It's never the players actually hitting the point, hitting the hill, and playing for that retake. And every time they've had some sort of success going in and getting that retake. But we're going to go back into the match here.
Okay.
And the round didn't count. So
it did count.
yeah.
So.
Sorry, it did count. Yeah, my apologies. So tough luck. It's 5-1. Match point for Oklahoma Christian.
First blood from Peach. All right, let's see it. Not a full sale, but it would be the next best thing. Exotic, doing your diligence, checking every corner necessary. Do you expect this? You do not if you're Cruz. So shots on the side. The A site has fallen. Can the bomb get there in time? They are nowhere close. Oh, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
What has happened there?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's a big...
How? How is this happening?
I don't know. It's a collapse. I'm just watching it. I'm in awe. Finally, they're gonna kill back. I gotta get myself back into casting mode. So it's Manny in a 1 versus 2. Yeah. Look, not a great start for Wichita, but they have brought it back a little bit in the late round, and this is for everything. It's hard to imagine, but this is for all the marbles. So 20 seconds on the clock. Manny up the zip. Does fall. They're behind two. They have no idea he's there. Does spot one. He does the 360, 180 check, but does turn around in time. Unfortunately, Peach loses the gunfight. Bomb going down, 7 seconds, 1 versus 1. Manny knows where he's at. Whether or not he'll be able to find the kill is yet to be seen. Big route around the back line. Knows that he's in the helicopter, but the spot check is there. Does survive on the bomb as well. So it's a mixy 1 versus 1. Dancing around, looking to go for the chow. Manny shuts it down. Wow. What a way to end off that map. Exotic getting his head ripped off of that heady. Once again, Oklahoma showing that they can shoot, as well as have the brains to match it up. And a very consistent search and destroy there to take the map too.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, let's see that one more time. Not just the most egregious shell with a sub, but for the ace to put it away, Manny. All right, so yeah, you died once during the before the reset, but hey, technically you didn't die after the reset. So that's a flawless win there from Manny.
Flawless end, yeah.
At the end there, 6-1 for Oklahoma Christian. The search and destroy looking good with Gus in the lineup. And they're flowing there. I mean, we just look at the breakdown across that. First bloods in majority of the rounds, except the one you lost in the last round we saw just there on stream. And even with the last one there, you're able to still convert it with kills. The only time you really fell victim to this Wichita State Esports team is, like you said, it's the round number 5 when you take the 50-50 down in computers. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad. It's just, it all depends on who gets the first shot there. And I think Wichita State, that they just had the timing on their side. Everything went right. But other than that, you're just kind of teeing up against a team like Oklahoma Christian, who just seem like they can't lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like a big difference between these two teams. And I hate to say it, maybe the Hassie is a different story, but I believe, if I'm not wrong, this was Wichita's picks, right? Like, they wanted these maps to go through. They had, they were feeling favorable about going into these maps. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting series so far for Wichita. But coming into the Vault Control, we saw that Wichita doesn't have a lot of experience on this. Oklahoma Christian has a lot and have been performing pretty well on the Vault Control. So far, Wichita looking like they might go down 3-0 if this continues. I mean, I said it from the start, and I'll continue saying it until we get to that Hassie. We might see something different there, but I would not be surprised if Wichita have to go 3-0 down in this series and claw themselves back in it and make something happen here late into this best of 7, because it is not looking good. Vault Control up next, Timor, and we saw how Vault Hardpoint went. We saw how Protocol Search went. It's a tough matchup.
I just had to look back. I watched the stream just to see that kill back again from Prada.
Oh, it's gross.
Oh my god. If you want to shoot like Prada, don't forget that College COD has a little bit of a partnership going on this season with Scuff Gaming. If you go to scuff.co/collegecod, you yourself can shoot like Manny. Insane stuff coming out from Oklahoma Christian. You gotta know that if you want to play like the best, you gotta use the best technology, and this is it. Shout out to Scuff for joining us in the 2025 season, and thank you to you all for joining us so far in the conference finals. We are nowhere close to being done just yet. We got map 3 coming up very soon after this break. Welcome back, everybody. After what was a fairly swift 2 maps at Oklahoma Christian, we're going to be teeing up the 3rd map of this best of 7, heading into Control Narski. I'm sure the Eagles are feeling very good. You got Manny frying inside of the Search and Destroy. You got Prada running routes in the hard point. You put both of those together in the Control now. How do you stop that if you're Wichita State Esports? It is an answer that I cannot wait to see if they can answer right now, because so far it doesn't seem like that answer is existing.
Well, I think that you've got to drastically change something up, right? I think that we've seen how they've tried to play, and I can't fault them, right? They've been trying to play like proper Call of Duty, to the best of their abilities, right? Running those rotations, trying to get the breaks, in the Search and Destroy, trying to work the map, get that map control. Unfortunately, the macro is just a lot better here from Oklahoma Christian. I don't know if there's an easy solution around there, some sort of answer that they need to find throughout that. But I do know that they need to try and switch something up here that's going to catch them off guard. You're already down 2 maps, and the Search and Destroy was a big testament to me for what they can bring to the table here. You have a lot of rounds in Search where you can see what's going wrong, what's going right, and you can adapt to that. And it's about that adaptability that makes really good Search teams and, the average Search teams. And I think that we saw that Wichita just wasn't willing to adapt there in that Search and Destroy. We're going to see here in the Vault Control, if they're able to get some more value here. The good thing about Control is that it is a little bit more straightforward, right? There are some macro that you can do, right? You can get towards the backline. You can try and get the kills through, make the routes, and just like any other game mode. But all in all, it's pretty stock standard how Control's played from the beginning of the game mode to the real end of it. The five people and the specialists when it first came out. But in this state of the game, in this Control, it's either go for the spawn trap, go for the points, defend the points, go for the spawn trap. It's one of those 4 realistically, right? So whether they can execute it, I do believe that they have the mechanical ability to do so. We saw that there's some good gunfights they can have. I mean, it wasn't the greatest showcase in that Search and Destroy. I'll give them that. There was some nasty shots coming out from Oklahoma Christian, but I do believe that Wichita can at least set themselves up in positions where they can easily get the gunfights over on Oklahoma and make that a kind of at least a dogfight, right, where they're trying to extend these trades and these lives that we're going to see in Control. We've seen a little bit of everything from everyone on Wichita. We've seen a little bit of everything from everyone on Oklahoma Christian. We know what we're expecting in this matchup. We've seen them go before. It didn't go well. We're going to see it here again on Vault Control. It is a best of 7, so they have a map to lose. I think you just use it to try something, to try and get some sort of, a read on how to play against this matchup, because the hard point was not it. The Search and Destroy was not it. Control, you need something here that's going to give you something, some sort of advantage, I should say, going into it. And did I just see a Ninja Turtle? That was, wow. Okay, what a start. I mean, we're going into it. Control, map 3. Let's see how they get things going.
Turtle power. Okay, Kaiser, that's what I like to see. 2 in the opening. Can you find 3? Of course you can. Kaiser is out for blood now. Looking for all 4. Not going to happen this time. Cruz with a shutdown, but as Kaiser falls, Exotic picks up the mantle, and you're right back into that zone.
This is what I'm talking about. Go to the point, win the gunfights, simplify the game. Stop trying to play this macro stuff against Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City, Christian, whatever I'm saying. But regardless, just go hard in the paint. Just get in there, try and shoot your gun straight, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're cooking up, and that's what I like to see. Already under control. They've got a life advantage. They're trying to push towards the back. Now you're seeing a 4 down from Oklahoma Christian. They're getting back into it, but at least you've got some breathing room here, and that's something that we haven't really seen from Wichita in any game mode in any state so far in this matchup.
In there, like proverbial swimwear for this team. Not a lot of water on the map. Not even in the pool itself. It's leaked into the vault, so somebody's got to check the plumbing. Minute 34, 3 down again. Could this be it? Manny from behind. He's got the jackal, but that is still a gun that fries at distance. So time stopped. Working on this progress. Nobody inside P4 means that you're not going to have anybody watching this approach, and that's going to allow for Oklahoma Christian to battle their way back out of ARD, hop into these power positions, and keep this game alive for their defense.
Still trying to press the attack live. Not quite in their favor. Oh, an unfortunate gunfire there down the stairs. Will be Prada coming out on top. I had to do some calculation in my brain and it just short-circuited. I can't deal with this Concaster. But regardless, some lives come in the way of Oklahoma. They are 4 up. They need to try and get out of this spawn trap. They've done some progress here so far. 45 seconds left on the clock. Wichita looking for some sort of advantage here late into the round. It was simplified. It was going good. Now going into the macro of the game, it's not going as well. This has got to be more than a pump. I don't know if that's considered snaky or not, but he's making it work around that heady. And yeah, I mean, at least some kills go back. Yeah, they can get on in. 25 seconds on the clock. They do get on the point and stall this out a little bit.
Oh, Peach is here. Peach going to be caught on the flank. This is a good read from Deucer, anticipating the flank through Volt, but Prada with the beams snaps him out of the zone. 4th segment in the round for Wichita State Esports. However, 17 seconds, and you're back off of the respawn for a couple of these members. So you're taking your time to get here, but losing lives on the way to V6. Now a 1 versus 6, and Prada's going to put it away. Oklahoma Christian tested, but it was not fully broken. So you go down a couple times, 3, 4 down, but you're proving yourself that you're able to break this spawn trap again and again. And I really can't believe that Wichita State didn't win this round. I mean, you had so many chances to fully stack that B zone, push forward into R, take some space. There was like a couple times where you're getting 3 down. At some point, you have to figure that somebody's got to get into R. You got to at least try to force those deep spawns from the defenders, but they really never did that. Instead, you keep on throwing players towards the southern side of the map, and you're just going to keep forcing those spawns towards Art.
Yeah, I mean, they started off so well, and you could see they have some sort of handle on how to take the gunfights when it's given to them, but whether or not that they can really capitalize on that big set of plays yet to really be seen from Wichita. Again, already this A zone heavy underway. They got in pretty comfortably, and now you can see Cruz pushed up. A nice gunfight there. Kills go back. They don't quite get the entirety of the A zone. They will regress some of this tick, but you can see they're trying to work the map now. Oklahoma Christian trying to at least apply some of that pressure and make this a difficult set of engagements. You know, a minute left on the clock. You can maybe play for the time here if you can stall this A zone out long enough, but yeah, they're already in on the B, and Prada looking to try and pressure towards the back line, and this is exactly where it starts to fall apart.
Look at this. Unlike Wichita State, immediately Prada's going to slip in towards Art, force those deep spawns P4. Whether he stays alive or not, it doesn't matter, because that is just progress over towards B. You have the stack in. Now Cruz trying to push forward. Doesn't pay off. You don't get that segment, but you can see that Oklahoma Christian, they know what they're doing here on this attack. And it didn't work this time, but you know they're going to get right back to inform and try it again.
Well, it's that conditioning, right? Like, you see exactly the set of plays that are going to force Wichita to play a certain way, or, you know, to force them in a position that they're not favorable in. And that is going to pay dividends for the side of Oklahoma going forward. And it's just that that little bit extra that's winning them a lot of these engagements, a lot of these long, drawn-out battles. And it's, you know, it's kind of a war of attrition in that sense, where it's just breaking down Wichita over and over again in all of these game modes. But you know, at the end of the day, it is a game about guns and shooting people. And Kaiser's just done that to perfection. 2 players drop. And they do clear out this point, at least momentarily. So a minute on the clock, and Oklahoma looking to try and re-engage.
Right off those P2 spawns, immediate flank again through the southern side of the map. Manny quickly going to get in towards Art. Spawn Wichita State as far away from this B zone as humanly possible. And now they're on the hunt for those lurking players in towards the B zone, the ones that just continue to be an issue for Oklahoma Christian getting this progress at B. You find one, Gus traded Exotic now. It is all down to you to hold off this pressure for the zone.
7 to 10. 2 life differential now. Still pressuring this B zone. Wichita looking to try and get out of the spawn. Dusa in the back line. Able to find that one player being a thorn in the side, but there's deep spawn still coming in. Kill's coming back as well. Still not that first tick, so all in all, pretty even from both sides here. But Oklahoma looking to try and take this round out. No lives for Wichita. Big 2 from Exotic as well to keep things alive here. So maybe we do see Wichita staying alive. The tick comes through though, so it is a slight advantage even if Wichita do win this round, and they're going to need everything they can get in this control, but Oklahoma now looking to shut things down. 2 players left. Exotic trying to make that round again. Not going to happen, and it is 1 player, Peach, and Matty's just through the window trying to shut him down. The tick's coming through. It's all disastrous. Punch in the back of the head, knocks him clean out. The turtle is no more. Wow, what a brutal round for Wichita as well, you know, making it so close as well. 2-0 up, though, for Oklahoma Christian, and they're looking solid.
And as soon as you just kind of flip that switch to the end there, Oklahoma Christian set themselves up for the win condition, whether it's the progress on the zone or the lives you just continue to bleed out. Constant pressure on the spawns, constant pressure in the lives, and eventually it just falls apart for Wichita State Esports. A very fragile hold on that B zone, and they're just never able to really control their own half of the map, let alone the series that we're watching right now. 2-0 for Oklahoma Christian. Ready for the 3-0 sweep in the control to set up the sweep in the series going into the Hacienda hardpoint next. But job's not done. Still more COD to be played. And Wichita State, we saw their attacking side last time they were here. They did a great job at capturing A. B, not so much. This time, A going quite the same.
I mean, their attack last time, very solid. This time, struggling. Time and time again, we've seen the kills not quite go their way, but they still hang on for, you know, momentarily, and they do have a slight life lead. Prod pushed up pretty deep. Does get caught. Only getting 1, and this might be the A zone that we see get progressed to full and captured. So they set themselves up nicely. They have a nice life lead, but we saw again, you know, in the first round that they did not apply the same principles that Oklahoma was doing in the attack. And if they don't get those deep spawns, it's just going to be the same problem over and over again. And Cruz getting a nice 2-piece. That's 3 down. Manny now just beelining it straight to the back of the spawn. And this could be very, very mixy now for Wichita as they start getting sent back to the spawn. They might get caught in a bit of a trap, and you can see Oklahoma doing everything to try and you know, make that a reality. Fortunately, Cruz dying to a car. I believe he shot himself, so tough scenes. But Wichita now on the point, looking to try and stall this out.
Well, it is same place, hopefully not the same outcome. Exotic lurking in the shadows, not going to expect that as Manny. So a couple kills go your way, and here we go. Exotic quickly going to work in towards Art. See if you can start to force these spawns away. Allow for some safe progress. The triple stack is in. Now can they put it away?
This could be it. This could be huge for Wichita as they get these 2 ticks through. Looking to try and get this finale here on this B zone. Maybe get themselves around to the belt, but it's a 4 down, and Oklahoma doing a nice job of stopping the bleeding there. That's 2 ticks, though. They need 1. They have a minute 10 on the clock. They have the life advantage. It's looking decent for Wichita in this round. They just need to get the right pieces into place, and Pete's going to kick things off. Takes out Manny. Now the setup is a little bit skewed. They need to try and get into position if you're Oklahoma. and you need to capitalize on this transition period if you are Wichita.
I mean, it doesn't pay off. I mean, you get those 2 segments, but you can see that slowly Wichita State Esports are piecing this together on their attack. It's just another 3-4 down. You get that site stacked, and this could be an offensive win. This could be some new life breathed into the team, but Cruz is not letting anything get by him. 21-18 on 6 in a row. Now looking to push the issue forward. Nice shots there. In behind, spawn up in front of him, and that's going to be his demise. But 18 seconds left. 5 versus 1. It is a matter of time. Manny is just looking to do the most diabolical thing we can see on stream. Yeah, get it off the camera. Get it away from here. 3-0 in the control. 3-0 in this best of 7. Oklahoma Christian just continue their pure dominance in the series.
I mean, there's been like some sort of disastrous end for Wichita in every single one of these maps, and you know, these are players that are very like very good at the game. This is something that's a little bit rattling to watch, kind of as a viewer or a spectator, right? I mean, it shouldn't feel like it's this big of a gap, but Oklahoma just playing so well as a team. It's kind of, it's undeniable, right? Like, we're seeing it time and time again. We're going to a Hassie hard point. It's 3-0 in the series right now. You know, I don't really know what to say apart from the fact that Wichita at least like what they did in the control towards the end of it, and I felt like they had a lot better of a handle on things going into the control. The scoreline doesn't say it, but you know, apart from their first attack and the attack from Oklahoma, it was still fairly close in these rounds, right? It wasn't an absolute slamming that we saw in the search and the hard point, even though the scoreline says so. So I at least like to see something a little bit extra from Wichita. Now we're going to a completely different, you know, I guess map, right? We've only seen the respawns on Vault. Now we're going to a Hassie. Will it be the thing that they need to stay in this series? I'm not sure if it'll be enough, but I guess it's something. It's a change of pace. It's a change of, you know, scenery at least. We're going to a Hassie hardpoint to stay alive for Wichita, and they came out swinging in that control. They had all this, you know, energy that they were bringing to the table at the start. We just need to see that consistently, where they kind of don't get discouraged, right? Keep the pressure up.
You know, I'm not going to take anything away from Wichita State Esports and the fact that they've had advantages throughout this series. It's just executing on those advantages and clutching up in those moments. Just, it hasn't been the kind of match that you hoped for. I mean, twice we saw them capture A within, you know, the first couple of seconds of their attacking round over in the Vault control. Both times they got shut down at B. The second time was a lot better than the first, but either way, it's just you're not finishing those advantages that you kind of give yourself and setting yourself up for the long run of these series. Oklahoma Christian just continuously bleed you out and take you to the very last minute, the very last second, and they know that they can close out in those moments. The search and destroy, I mean, you had 2v1s, you had like a couple times in the 1v1s that you just weren't able to put it away. Most of it came from you're losing out on the first bloods there, and the hard point, you missed out on almost every single rotation. And even when you were able to, Oklahoma Christian was able to break you in the first couple of seconds of it, or at least contest for that time. Heading into this Hacienda hard points, I mean, it's just working off of those ideas, working off of those advantages for your team, and actually setting up in those powerful spots to really solidify those holds, because on a map like Hacienda, those fundamentals will carry you a long way. You get those early rotations, you get those setups in the power positions, and you hold down your irons, there will be a player that's going to walk into your sight line. This is a very basic map compared to others that we do have in the pool, but when it comes down to it, there's been so many times where Oklahoma Christian have been able to bully you that you need those heroics to also show up from players like Kaiser and Exotic, and it hasn't been as pop-off as it has for the side of Oklahoma Christian. When you see Manny or Prada constantly finding double kills or triple kills, you don't have that same firepower on the opposite side. And Hacienda hardpoint, albeit it's going to be a little bit easier for you to get setups going, it's still going to be hard if you are not having the slaying under control. So you're looking towards this one, and you're hoping that the players can slow down, work their angles, and see if they can catch those timings on Oklahoma Christian and shut them down.
Well, let's see. Match or series point, apologies, for Oklahoma Christian. Looking to try and take this in the Hassie hard point, and it is a pretty sad start for Wichita on the break. But that's okay. We got plenty of hard point to play. It is Hassie. This is something that they are probably at least somewhat looking forward to with the change of pace. And, P1 online, Oklahoma grabbing some time, but we're going to be having to look for the P2 rotation here. That is going to be the decider between these two teams going into it, and at least some scrap time as well being gained on P1 here momentarily, potentially, but never mind. Cruz shuts it down, and it's another 3 down.
And you just look at the way that Oklahoma Christian's swarming around the map. They take different angles. They find those players on site. They pick them off one by one. So early rotation over towards P2, still picking up some of that later time here on that first initial hill. You'll get the spawns in the back, so you're going to be able to reinforce this rotation, but Wichita State going to have to do this together and do it at the same time. All 4 members hitting towards the lobby.
Want to get through the back. You've got a very big attack coming through, but it's just going to be all shut down from Gus and Cruz. The AR is now shooting and making this disastrous for Wichita. And look at this spawn as well, now coming to the crossfire of Gus. They do take him out. Kaiser with a nice gunfight, but Cruz still there to pick up a slack. Prod as well in the point, looking to try and get things done. And it is all falling apart for Wichita again here on P2. It's a beautiful hold. The ego chow from Prod gets out with his life as well, which is something of a feat in itself. So yeah, a tough P2 again for Wichita. They need to really pick up the game here. This is for everything. They cannot go down here in the 4th map.
From
and it is
Cruz
tough.
All the way over towards the boathouse. He's going to be trying to at least punish these players onto the rotation over towards P3. It's a late break from Wichita State into the P2 scrap time, but it's too little of a gain off of this one. You've lost the race over towards the next hill. You have some players who are going to be set up here. And you got to be really careful now if you're Wichita State. You need this break now. You have the numbers. You push forward, but it's heroics again from Oklahoma Christian. Off the respawn, they go big. They win the roto.
Who's now in the back line. 4 streak for him. Makes it a 5. Does get taken out, but at least something for saving grace here for Wichita to back off of. Still such an important lead being gained from Oklahoma Christian. You can see the players. They come back into the hill. They all die. It's a 4 down, and Wichita sent back to the spawn yet again on a tough break.
And look at Prada here. He is nowhere close to the hill. He knows where the spawns are going to be. He knows where he should be. And he is just happy to continue to tally up these kills. 4 in a row from Prada.
No.
Manny now over towards the next one. He's going to find the better of Kaiser, and Prada just reading the routes like he's written the routes. 120 to 22. You get the rotation of P4, and this is just full takeover today from Oklahoma Christian. Nothing is stopping them.
Yeah, I think we can comfortably say this is done. I mean, they are feeling confident. They are in flow state. You've got Prada running around, twerking on the back line. It's disgusting what he's doing, dancing in the back line there. And you finally got someone pressing the point. It's going to be exotic. Does get a nice 2-piece, so that's something. It's a 28 seconds that you can grab here, but Oklahoma already more than halfway through in this hard point. And, Wichita just getting their first couple points here, realistically. It's such dominance from the side of Oklahoma Christian, and still we're seeing this flow state coming out from Prada. It's disgusting, time and time again, what we're seeing from this man.
I mean, we got some of the best players here in CCL from this season and previous just feeling as best as they've ever felt throughout the year. Cruz coming off a fantastic run in the Major 2 Open into the Sunday as well. Technically. Wichita State just not really able to piece everything together, getting outslayed, getting outclassed, getting out-rotated. And not only are Oklahoma Christian looking for that first seed, but they are looking to prove that there is nobody close to them in their division and set an expectation to playoffs that not a lot of teams are willing to meet.
this is something to behold from Oklahoma Christian. I mean, if you're watching this, you're going to have to be playing against this team going forward. It is a scary, scary sight. Mind you, not even with their normal, player, they've got a stand-in. It's going to be Gus, and he has been more than pulling his weight, more than performing in this series. It is a scary, scary sight. So far, Wichita with really nothing going for them, only getting the scraps, the crumbs that Oklahoma are leaving behind in their wake. It is complete and utter dominance in every facet of this series. It's a best of 7, but it doesn't matter. It feels like a best of 3. The pace at which this is going. Everyone's getting shut down from Wichita. No one's got an answer. Manny with a knife, gonna shank Deucer as well. It's just, it really is just impressive to watch Oklahoma Christian outwork as well. Wichita is a very, very strong team, a very, very good team, and Oklahoma just make it look like they're fresh to caught.
Well, one last chance for Wichita State. A late break into P2. Oklahoma Christian could get right back in towards it. We're heading to another rotation. Prada already looking for these players off the spawns. And can Wichita State pull off the near impossible? I don't even know what Cruz is doing there, but he's already put it down. So one last hurrah, one last victory lap for Oklahoma Christian. They came, they saw, they conquered, they take down Wichita State. They lead their division heading into the playoffs, the #1 seed out of the Sun Belt. And they're $600 richer.
Almost a 50-point club. Wow, brutal, brutal stuff. I mean, Wichita, they gave it their all. You know, you can't fault them for trying. It was just Oklahoma City Christian. I really need to stop saying that, but yeah, I mean, dominance just from out every single facet of this series. Really, really impressive stuff. And going forward, this is they've shown why they're the #2. They're on top. It is really, really impressive. So yeah. Congrats to Oklahoma Christian with an absolute banger of a series. Unfortunately, it wasn't as close as we maybe hoped going into it, but
oh boy,
yeah, it was an interesting match for sure.
I mean, if this doesn't show you just how strong the top side of College COD really is, I don't know what to tell you all. Just some of the best players that we have in amateur Call of Duty, just sitting on college teams. And in TakeOver here, we see it. Oklahoma Christian, just one of them. They looked good. And this is without Spar, too. This is with, technically, I'm putting quotations there, a substitute on your team, albeit Gus has played seasons with this roster. Not just your typical substitute player. Definitely somebody who's going to fit into the system and do a great job with it. So Gus in for Spart. They still look so strong against the #7 team here in College COD. And they didn't look back after the beginning. A closer, I guess you could say, map #1. The closest map we get throughout this whole series was a 250 to 151 at the start. But after that, I mean, 6-1, 3-0, 250 to 55. No mercy out of Oklahoma Christian. That is as good as it gets sometimes.
Yeah, it was just ground and pound from Oklahoma Christian. They were, really putting on the pressure in every single map. I mean, I gotta say, score-wise, yeah, Hardpoint was the closest. I gotta say, the Control felt like it had the most action in terms of, like, give back and forth. But even then, you got a 3-0 Oklahoma just being completely over, Wichita that entire time. And yeah, I mean, to put on a performance like that in in this match at this stage of the competition as well is just super difficult to do. And they look comfortable. They look like this is where they're meant to be. They're destined to take this path, and they look like they cannot be stopped. So if we go forward,
yeah,
wow. I mean, just watch out is all I gotta say.
Well, if this is #2, I want to see #1.
Yeah.
The conference champions of the Western Sun Belt, Oklahoma Christian, not only going to be taking that #1 seed heading into the playoffs, but as well as $600 on top of that. courtesy of our lovely partners. But Narski, throughout this one, I mean, not really much to say. I'd say analytical between the series. I think for Oklahoma Christian, it looked like they were as sharp as could be heading into the playoffs, and this is the form that you want to see from teams if they want to be champions here in College COD. I mean, you know that there are still teams to worry about heading into the playoffs that are going to play you close, Mars Hill being one of them. That we just saw prior to this, but taking down the number 7 team in a fashion like this, that is something that is going to really set a precedence within the playoffs of College COD.
I think that is something that you can really take and look at, right? You look at the standings, it's not necessarily exactly how a match is going to play out. Number 2, number 7 should definitely be a little bit closer than that, and Oklahoma can just show that they can go above and beyond here. It's a showcase of what they can bring to the table and what we're going to expect going forward, and just the level of competition that's really in the CCL in general, right? Like, I think it cannot be understated. Wichita State is a very, very good team, and to see them honestly in that performance against Oklahoma, I wasn't quite expecting such a blowout, all things considered. The potential that Wichita has is very, very great, right? It's strong. They have a lot going for them. Unfortunately, just didn't come together here in this matchup. And going forward, Oklahoma now know what they can expect and what their capabilities are. It's kind of like limit testing as well that we've seen from them, where they can really press a lot of these maps, a lot of these matchups, and show that they can do it very comfortably. So all props to Oklahoma Christian for putting up that performance, and we'll see what they bring next.
We'll have to see what they bring next in the coming weeks, folks. Make sure that you're staying tuned to all the news that is College COD, especially over on Twitter at College COD. Not only that, but tomorrow, one of the conference finals will be streamed over on Season COD's channel. That's CMCC versus Fisher. So make sure that you're going to be tuning in for that one, as well as we're closing out on the regular season, setting up for the postseason. Make sure you are ready for that, because the College COD postseason is some of the best that we have in college esports, and you don't want to miss out whatsoever. That's going to be all set and done for tonight as we close off on some of the first conference champs that we have here on stream. We'll see you all next time for more College COD action. Have fun. Take care.